Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to implement Motivity at an organization. All right, let me share my screen. All right, what should I expect during implementation? One thing that we all know is that change in organizations is not always easy, but changing data collection systems is also challenging. And that change can be hard at first, it could be messy in the middle, but usually there's a gorgeous end. And that's because the reason why you're making the change is because you have this light at the end of the tunnel. You're trying to increase performance and efficiency for your team. So I want to talk a little bit about the J-curve and Motivity. So this diagram really explains a lot when it comes to implementing new technology at an organization. So you have a current state of productivity and performance, which you want to improve. You want to improve it, so you're going to adopt a new technology. That new technology is eventually going to improve your productivity and performance. That's your desired state. Your current state is lower than your desired state. So you implement this technology, and what happens is there is a period of disruption, a time where the productivity and performance actually decrease. That time is usually a time where people are learning to adapt to the new technology. You're having to work through some stragglers, people that are more resistant to change, and also being able to get fluency of navigating the new system. Our goal at Motivity is to decrease the length of time and the depth of the period of disruption by using targeted communications, focused education, and also clear expectations. So what decreases the period of disruption? What can your organization do to decrease that period of disruption? Your organization can do several things, but one we've seen is really important is to give your clinicians time. Give them time to learn to use the new system, to go through the training, and to learn how to navigate it. If they're not giving additional time within the first month of adopting a new system like Motivity, they're going to be really stressed out, and the process is going to draw on a little bit longer than expected. Also, you want to give clear expectations for your team members. Know who they're accountable to. Make sure that you have timelines and milestones. Open, targeted communication is super important. Focused education and training, which Motivity provides, but also setting up time for your organization to also address training, especially in supervision meetings or all team meetings. And then of course, having a team that's dedicated to ongoing upkeep of the system. All right, so what is this going to look like in terms of what your team will be responsible? Every project team, every organization will receive a dedicated Motivity expert. This Motivity expert is a BCBA, and so understands the clinical needs that you have, but this person also is a Motivity expert. They know how to navigate the ins and outs and the back end of Motivity. They will spend time working with your project team. So that's your project lead, the person who's overseeing the whole onboarding process in your organization. And then we have what we call Motivity gurus. So people in your organization that are going to be the Motivity experts, the go-to people at your organization. These people are going to be usually clinicians that understand your processes and how you like to do things clinically at your organization, but also these people are usually more proactive when it comes to adopting technology. They're going to be like first adopters. Also, these people are going to be more tech savvy. Then underneath the Motivity gurus, you're going to have your team, your behavior analysts, your RBTs, the people that are using Motivity every day, but they might need support internally from these Motivity gurus. And then of course, they can always reach out to Motivity. We have a tech support department, but the Motivity expert, that's your BCBA, that person is going to be working primarily with your project lead and your Motivity gurus. So here's an example timeline of what it could look like for your implementation. Usually in the first week after you launch Motivity, and when I say launch, it means the very first week that you set up your initial accounts with your staff members. At this point, there's no learners set up. So in the first week, you're going to identify your project team, have that launch meeting with Motivity and your Motivity expert. Then you're going to work with that BCBA, Motivity BCBA expert, to set up the foundation of your Motivity account. So your permissions, your roles, inviting staff members to Motivity, setting up your libraries, session note templates, program templates. Now, that could also kind of carry over into the second week as well. But in the second week, you for sure want to have your team already going and completing the online training portion of Motivity, which is free and is accessed on the website and also within Motivity. So there's an online training. There's two types. There's the admin training. The admin training is going to really be focused on onboarding learners, just their profiles, their demographic information, but also navigating the permissions, HIPAA compliance, and also keeping session note templates and workflows in order. So week 2 and 3 is really focused on team education and training. Going into week 3 to 6, that's when we're going to start data collection for learners, because as soon as you start building these programs, you need to kind of test them out in real life, because if you build a bunch of programs and libraries, but you haven't really tested them out and worked out the kinks, then you're going to find a lot of errors. But if you start collecting data, you're going to start to see what the graphs look like, how the workflow works in terms of mastery criteria, how your workflow looks for session notes, and then you'll be able to tweak it and fine tune it. So the sooner you start to collecting data, the better. All right, so now I'm going to show you some of the resources we provide our customers when they get started with Motivity. We provide them with a nice folder of materials that will help them. So you have your BCBA training materials. There's a lot of ways that clinicians will learn how to use Motivity. Some clinicians just want to dive in there and take the courses and kind of figure it out and learn it themselves. And there's a lot of resources for that, such as videos, knowledge-based articles. So for example, we have this knowledge base here that you can access on our homepage, but also just go to help.motivity.net and you can look up, there's hundreds of articles in here on how to do anything in Motivity. So like if I want to learn about mastery criteria, I just click in that key term and I open up an article, and the article will have videos, and we'll go through step by step how to use mastery criteria. In Motivity, they're called transitions. Also, we also provide the online trainings. Online trainings, this is like through a learning management system called Thinkific. And when you use Thinkific, you can sign up for these trainings. There's two. There's the admin training and then building programs in Motivity. So this is a course that you would enroll in, and you would actually go through each of like sequentially through how to use the program builder. It's hands-on, so it's going to actually require the user to build programs as they're going through the courses. And by the end of the courses, they should have programs built. And then the best way to learn is to continue to practice and use the skills, because if they're not in Motivity, watching the videos themselves is it's just gonna go over their head. And then for those individuals who need additional support and hands-on training, we have coaching sessions with BCBAs that you can sign up for. You just click on a calendar and find an empty time that the BCBA is available, and you can sign up for a coaching session. In this folder of materials, we also have a presentation that you can use internally to present why you chose Motivity and your vision for how it's going to improve your organization's performance and productivity. There's also, of course, if you go down, there's also a section all about what it's going to look like for implementation, so they can know what to expect. The stress of adopting a new technology will decrease the more they know what to expect and what it's going to look like. Also in this folder, you're going to have, there is a Motivity Implementation Plan. This is an internal document that you can use. It's based on organizational behavior management and the steps of the organizational change. So first, identifying your project team and assigning roles and communicating and getting buy-in. Anyway, this document can be used to kind of guide you through that process internally. And then, of course, we have RBT training materials, which usually are not, there's not a lot needed because Motivity is very user-friendly for BTs. There's a 15-minute video that they can watch, and then a PDF that they can download and have accessible for them that just gives them some tips and tricks to using all the features of Motivity. And then, of course, we have a welcome letters template and a letter for caregivers and parents as well. All right, so we have a lot of materials to help you with the process. Our BCBA implementation specialists or customer success consultants have a full curriculum and checklist on getting each and every organization set up for success. And they'll go through each of these, the checklist with you. And then our implementation is competency-based. So we don't say, okay, 3 months and you're done. We make sure that by the end of the time that we're spending with you, that you have all the competencies. Your team has the competencies to be able to continue to run Motivity without weekly meetings. And then we'll fade those meetings out as needed. And then we're always available for check-ins and if you need additional assistance. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about what the Motivity implementation process looks like. And please reach out. You can also reach out to support@motivity.net for any other questions.